Hi everyone, my name is Trisha Prabhu, and I'm the founder and CEO of Rethink, a global movement tackling cyberbullying and redefining internet culture so that our digital world is a more empowering, positive, and respectful place for today's youth. I'm so thrilled to be here with you all. I want to begin by thanking the Blue Tree Foundation for the opportunity to be a part of this online forum. So in today's talk, I want to do two key things. First, I want to take you through my journey building Rethink, this movement that's tackling cyberbullying. I want to tell you about my inspiration. I want to tell you more about what Rethink is and how it works and the impact that it's making. The second thing I want to do is give a little bit of advice at the end of this talk to youth who are watching and thinking, how can I make a change in the world? How can I make a positive impact on society? And know that you are going to be powerful agents of change, making an impact for all of us. So thank you so much in advance for doing that. Well, one day, I was doing some reading, continuing my research, and I came across an article that offered a very interesting answer. So this article actually likened the teenage brain to a car with no brakes. It basically pointed out the fact that the way that the teenage brain develops and grows means that teenagers are not equipped to make good decisions, especially in the heat of the moment, and especially in situations that don't allow them to understand the consequences of their actions. Reading this article, I had an idea pop into my head. I thought, is it possible that that discrepancy between how young people interact in person with one another versus how they're interacting on their phones could be a result of the fact that these young people are not thinking? So this was my hypothesis, is that the reason that so many young people are saying and doing these horrible things online is in part because they're not thinking, they're not equipped to consider the consequences of their actions. That was my hypothesis. The solution I came up with that I envisioned given this hypothesis was a mechanism that would force young people to pause, review, and rethink saying something offensive. I thought, what if I could actually force young people? So I decided I had to go out and test the idea. So as part of an 8th grade science fair project, I actually developed 2 software systems to test this rethink concept. So one software system, which mimicked a social media-like environment and allowed participants, to post, certain types of messages. Some of them were offensive, did not have the rethink technology. And then another software system, the other software system that I had built, which also mimicked a social media-like environment, did have the rethink technology, such that if a participant expressed willingness to say something offensive, the rethink technology would pick up on that and then prompt the participant. 9 months later, I finally crunched all of the numbers, and what did I find? But that 93% of the time, youth aged 13 to 18 that received this rethink alert changed their mind and decided not to post the offensive message. A question I often get from youth is, Trish, I don't have any special skills. I don't have a genius IQ. What can I possibly do to change the world? What advice do you have for me? And my biggest piece of advice to those young people is your voices are so much more powerful than you know. You don't have to have a genius IQ or a fancy lab coat. I certainly didn't in order to make change. I was just 13. The only thing I really had was passion for the problem that I wanted to solve. So what I always encourage young people who are looking to make a positive impact to do is to look around themselves in their communities and consider, what are the problems that our community is facing today? What are the problems that our world is facing today? Whether it's, challenges with gender equality or, the rising concern of climate change and global warming. And what can I do to take action? Think about your skills. You don't have to have genius skills, but maybe you're passionate about art and you can create images of what the world will look like if it's not affected by climate change and what it may look like if it is, which could be a really powerful statement and an incredible way, to raise awareness and be an activist in that space. Maybe like me, you're a technologist and you love coding and building things, in which case, is there a technology solution you can create to tackle an issue like gender equality, right? Think about your skills and what you're passionate about and ways that you can bring those two things together. And don't underestimate yourself. You have so much more power than you realize. I also want to offer some advice to youth who are thinking specifically about how they can be an upstander in today's digital world. In other words, how they can stand up against cyberbullying and for victims to make the digital world a little bit more inclusive, a little bit more kind, a little bit more tolerant. And my advice to those young people is, first of all, thank you so much for wanting to take action. We need more young people like you. But also to say that setting an example is one of the best ways you can do this, right? If you're thinking about, well, how can I make the digital world a better place? How can I be an upstander? Do it by setting an example, right? Think about your digital interactions, every single interaction, as setting an example for your fellow young people, and hold yourself to a really high standard when it comes to the things you say and do online. You should also really try to support those people around you who are being affected by cyberbullying. If you see it, say something. Of course, we never want to escalate a situation. We never want to engage in cyberbullying ourselves, and we never ever want to get involved in situations that are scary or unsafe. But where there's an opportunity for you to educate the young people around you, for instance, to say to a bully, hey, what you're doing is not okay, right? And to offer support to the victim, that can be life-changing. It can really be transformational. So it doesn't take, a huge amount of effort. It doesn't take huge actions to make huge impact. Even one action of reaching out a hand of support, to a victim can be an incredibly powerful way to make change. So never forget that. And remember, your everyday actions can have so much impact. So I hope you enjoyed today's talk, including a little bit of my journey and, my advice to young people, looking to take on this issue. Again, it was such an honor to be a part of this forum. Thank you again for having me. And together, let's build the internet that today's young people deserve. Thank you.